The only sports to talk about on Dayton Sports Radio is Ohio State and the Cleveland Browns. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag.
This is the Cincinnati and Dayton Sports Podcast with Lee W. Mowen, a weekly audio podcast that covers everything sports in the Dayton and Cincinnati, Ohio region. No faffing around, no unnecessary chatter, no focusing on that school in Columbus like other shows, just good, honest, local sports happening in Southwest Ohio, Northern Kentucky, and East Central Indiana. Be sure to bookmark cindaypod.com for ways to listen and podcast merchandise. Theme song by Kevin MacLeod on freepd.com. Here's your host, Lee W. Mowen.
Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. Whew. Thank God I got that trend in before it all died out. Seriously, the red flag trend, I saw it for a week and then it just disappeared. So, there you go. To my credit, though, I did have a tweet about it, and literally that's just what I read. So there you go. Anyway, welcome into episode 222 of the Cincinnati and Dayton Sports Podcast, where our selection this episode is American football. Yes, from OHSAA Playoffs to the Cincinnati Bearcats being the best Division I team in Ohio, and the Cincinnati Bengals being the best team in the AFC. How exciting is it to be a Cincinnati fan? Man, it's a good thing that you don't listen to someone that just bashes Cincinnati because they want to, or because, the Bengals don't deserve Joe Burrow. The Bengals don't even deserve oxygen. Anyway, let's begin with Ohio high school football. So as you might know, OHSAA decided to put 16 teams in each region to play in the playoffs, which has its good parts, its bad parts. Of course, the most common of the arguments against is, well, you're just allowing teams that shouldn't be in the playoffs to get steamrolled in week 11, which is the first week of the playoffs. And the for it is, some of these teams won't ever get in the playoffs with just the top 8. Let's allow them to have a little slice of the pie. I mean, yeah, maybe, we're looking at 0-10 teams going against, a juggernaut, which we'll talk about later. But, it's more playoffs, more schools, more moolah. Whatever your argument is, it's happening, and we have it covered here with all the Cincinnati-Dayton area schools covered. Of course, to get you in, if you're not familiar with OHSAA, if you're in Ohio and you follow high school sports, this, just tune out for a couple seconds. OHSAA, the divisions are stacked. 1 is the most students, and 7 is the least amount of students. There you go. So we're going to start with Division I, Region 2. And I'm getting the information from ohiohshelmets.webs.com. Why? Because they have pretty pictures of helmets. And I like helmets and logos and stuff like that. Just because. We're going to start off with Division I, Region 2. And again, Division I, most students in school. And Region 2 is, the regions are based on areas. Region 4 and the last number on the divisions, normally Cincinnati, Dayton, but Division I, Region 2 is Dayton, Columbus, and Toledo. Why is that? I don't know. I didn't do it. So we're going to start with number 16, Delaware Hayes. That's north of Columbus. They're going to take on number 1, Marysville. This is the Monarch squad that's been very, very strong this year. And then we'll have, I don't know why these aren't in order. Normally, you're supposed to go 1, 2, 3, 4, but this isn't. Number 2, Springfield. What a great year the Wildcats have. Again, Maurice Douglas, heck of a head coach. And wherever he's went, success has followed. And the Wildcats, the 2-seeded Springfield Wildcats, will get number 15, Northmont and the Thunderbolts for another GWAC battle. In case you're wondering why Springfield wasn't the number 1 seed, well, that's one loss to Miamisburg doesn't help. Also, what doesn't help is Springfield had 2 games called off. The game at Fairfield, which the Wildcats could not make up in week 2, and in week 3, it was supposed to be a battle against Trotwood Masson, which finished 4-5. That got called off. But Springfield was able to get a game that Saturday at Lima Senior and to claw the Spartans 46-6. Yes, the one loss that Springfield suffered was at Miamisburg, a 22-21 Vikings advantage. And I watched some of the highlights of that. How exciting was that? And Springfield's coming off a 47-0 win at home against Northmont, and that sets up another battle against Northmont. I mean, it is tough to beat the same team twice, but there you go. For number 3 seeded Wayne and the Warriors, they'll get number 14 Dublin Kaufman. Number 4 Toledo Whitmer will host Toledo Start, the 13 seeded Toledo Start team. Then we move on to number 5 Centerville. Great year for the Elks. They will get number 12 Springboro. Then you'll have number 6 Findlay. Yes, I don't know why Division 1 Region 2 is so spaced out, Dayton, Columbus, and Toledo, but it is. Number 6 Findlay will welcome in number 11 Miamisburg. Then number 7 Dublin Jerome gets number 10 Olentangy Liberty. And number 8 Perrysburg will welcome in number 9 Kettering Fairmont. That's your matchups. The best helmet out of this one? Well, I'm partial to the Miamisburg Viking one with the classic Viking horn on it. For a time, Miamisburg didn't use the Viking horn. It had the oval M logo, which I think is on the other side of the helmet. Not entirely sure about that. You know, if Northmont kept the San Diego Chargers bolt, I'd probably pick Northmont each and every time, but they went with the Tampa Bay Lightning logo on the helmet. It just, Springfield's helmet looks like the LSU helmets, which is a nice touch. Toledo Whitmer, their Panther logo. You remember the old Pitt Panther logo? It's on there, except it's the same color as the helmet. Kettering Fairmont, they have the oval logo with the Firebird screeching. That's always a cool one. Although I really like the old one where they had the wings, like the Philadelphia Eagles wings, except it's a different type. Centerville's helmets used to have not quite the wings on the helmets, not like the Michigan wings, but they had like antlers, like lines just coming up, about the same style. I don't know if they do that anymore. According to the picture, they don't. And yeah, there's some pretty good helmets. A couple of plain ones, though. Dublin Jerome just has a gold helmet, kind of like Notre Dame. Dublin Kaufman, plain white helmet, and Delaware Hayes, a black helmet with an orange stripe. So that's Division 1 Region 2's helmets. Who is not making the playoffs? Well, there's only 2 teams, 1-8 Middletown and winless Beaver Creek. In Division 1, you're only going to have a few teams not make the playoffs. But for Divisions 2 through 7, there's going to be a lot more teams we talk about. So that covers Region 2. Best record does go to Marysville, 9-0. Springfield, 8-1. Wayne, 8-2 with Toledo Whitmer. Centerville, 7-3. Findlay 7-3, Dublin Jerome 6-4, Perrysburg 7-3, Kettering Fairmont 6-4, Olentangy Liberty 5-5, Miamisburg 6-4, Springboro 5-4, Toledo Start 5-5, Dublin Kaufman 3-7, Northmont 3-6, Delaware Hayes 3-7. So again, for those that are arguing that more teams isn't better, you know, there you go. Now on to the Cincinnati Bruiser, Division 1 Region 4. This is the division I'm in when I'm covering the Princeton Vikings for Flow Sports and ESP Media. And let me tell you, I love this division. I mean, it's so top-heavy. I mean, you have the GCL South teams, Moeller, St. Xavier, normally Elders in there. They are in there. LaSalle is not in there. They're Division 2, but they made the playoffs. Spoilers. So let's begin. Round 1 has number 1 Moeller. What a season for Moeller. I don't know if I expected the Crusaders to bounce back so sharply, but here's Moeller. Number 1 Crusaders get number 16 Oak Hills. This is winless Oak Hills, but we'll tell you why in a minute. Number 2 St. Xavier. They will get number 15 Hamilton. Number 3 Lakota West, who won the GMC title for the second straight year. They'll get number 14 West Claremont. And my Princeton Vikings, number 4, get number 13 Walnut Hills. On through 5 through 8, it's number 5 Lakota East taking on number 12 Sycamore in a rematch. You have number 6 Milford taking on number 11 Lebanon, another rematch. You have number 7 Elder hosting number 10 Coleraine. This is a Coleraine program that never lost in the first round of the playoffs ever in school history. You might say that that's a risk because, Elder might be the 7th seed, but they're still a really good Panther program. That might be in danger this year. This is a match I'm going to keep my eyes on. And also, number 8 Fairfield gets number 9 Mason. The teams that did not make the playoffs in Region 4, 1-6 Western Hills. They opted out. In case you're wondering why Oak Hills was picked for the playoffs, it's because Western Hills opted out, and that left Region 4 with 16 teams, everyone getting in. I tell you, I've seen Oak Hills twice. I covered the Highlanders when they were at Turpin, a D2 school, and they played them quite tough. I was impressed, and I thought, hey, maybe this is the year Oak Hills turns it around. And then I saw Princeton at Oak Hills, and it was the Vikings scoring, what was it? The first 40, out of the first 49 points, 42 of them. Yeah, we had a rolling clock in the second half. I mean, they have a great quarterback, Jackson Schreiber. That dude's a playmaker. And they also have Luke Barkley, too. Great addition to the defense. It hasn't, it hasn't translated into wins. So before we go through the records, best helmets, well, I'm partial to Princeton's helmet. The Viking horn, the red Viking horn. Actually, it's a red helmet with a white Viking horn. Just a classic look. But there's no shortage of great helmets here. None of them plain. Elder's got numbers on the side, and I think the Panther head on the other side. I'm trying to remember what last year's look looked like. Lakota East has the shield with the Hawks, kind of like the Raiders shield, almost. That's pretty cool. Sycamore, I really love the gold helmets with the green S. Mason's helmets are pretty cool. On one side, they have established 1962, which you don't see a lot of high schools celebrating that, so that's pretty cool. I like Fairfield's F logo. I like that. Moeller, classic look with the new Moeller M shield. By new, I mean it's been around for a few years, but Oak Hills, they have some pretty cool jerseys. I like those. I like their look. Walnut Hills, the WH logo, that's classic. Helmet is basically white, but, I believe they have numbers on the opposite side of the logo. Hamilton, big blue, the H on there. St. X, the outstretched X, always a classic look. Coleraine, the only bird I know that has teeth. Well, Louisville's logo technically does too, but I always like bringing that up. Lebanon, the spear is pretty nice. Actually, just the spearhead. It's not like the Preble Shawnee Arrows spear or the Florida State one. Milford, the classic M logo. That's cool. Lakota West, the W, like the Wisconsin W, except I think it's swapped. West Claremont has the Michigan Wolverines look to it, which is pretty nice. And I'm trying to look if I missed any helmets. No, I did not. But your records are Moeller 7-3, St. X 8-2, Lakota West 8-1, Princeton 9-1, Lakota East 7-3, Milford 6-4, Elder 4-5, Fairfield 5-4, Mason 4-6, Coleraine 5-5, Lebanon 3-6, Sycamore 5-5, Walnut Hills and West Claremont both 2-8, Hamilton 2-6. They missed a couple weeks thanks to COVID, and Oak Hills 0-10. Again, Western Hills, the only team to opt out of the playoffs. With all the turmoil of the bullying and the head coach and everything, it's a sad story because it looked like Western Hills would have had a nice year if it wasn't for all that. It seemed like the community had the head coach's back. I don't know the full story on it, but yeah, it's a sad tale. But there you go. The teams that didn't opt out are all in the playoffs. And in case you're wondering why there's some better records down, remember, it's computer points. The tougher the opponents, the better computer points you receive. Of course, wins always help, but, there's always the people you beat. If they beat other teams, it's computer points. Playing tough teams gives you a better ranking. Someone should tell that team in Columbus that. And now we'll move on to Division 2. This is great football as we move on to Region 8. And again, this is the start of the divisions that cut out more teams in the playoffs. So, round 1, it's number 1 Piqua. I tell you, the Indians are just on a roll. I mean, this is a team that was up 70-0 at the half against Fairborn. And I think the final score was 77-0. So, yeah. And I was wondering, you know, they had a running back last year, Jarrell Lewis, really good running back, and he's now at, I think he's now at Fordham. I don't think he decommitted. Actually, I don't remember. But number 1, Piqua gets Little Miami. And for those that are traveling to Piqua, remember, leave yourself a little extra time because I-75 can be a real pain, especially around Dayton, especially around the Dayton Flyers. I'm trying to think what the stadium is now. AES Ohio Stadium. Yeah, it can back up. So leave yourself a little extra time. Little hint from yours truly. The Kings Knights, the winner of the Eastern Cincinnati Conference, number 2 seeded Knights, will get number 15 Lima Senior traveling in. Then you have number 3 Anderson, the Raptors. What a team that the Raptors have. They get number 14 Xenia, making that long drive. Oh boy, that is a long drive for Xenia. Just thinking about it, I mean, I think your best bet's to go 35-71. That's my best guess. Number 4, Taze Valley. They're south of Columbus, I think. They'll get Stebbins traveling. Number 13, Stebbins and the Indians. And 5 through 8 now. Number 5, Edgewood. They'll get number 12, Sydney flying in. Then you'll have number 6, LaSalle. They'll take on number 11, Harrison. Number 7, Witten Woods. They'll get number 10, Turpin in an ECC rematch. And number 8, Withrow gets number 9, Troy. Helmets-wise, before we hit the records, I have always been partial to the blue and green color scheme of Witten Woods because not a lot of schools pull it off. I mean, Chaminade Julian, yes, but we haven't talked about CJ. I believe they're in the playoffs. But they have the Florida State Seminole Spear on their helmets. Turpin on the other side, they have, pretty sure that's Michigan State Spartans logo in their colors. LaSalle, the Lancer logo is very nice. Once upon a time, it was just the LS letters on it, but I like the Lancer logo. Harrison, the classic H with the Wildcat roaring. That's cool. Love the Tiger paw print and Withrows helmets. Troy Trojans, the classic Star Trojan logo. I love to know about the history on that. But every time I ask, everyone's like, Piqua, the Indians logo is really cool. If you've seen the Dayton Flyers D logo, it's kind of like that. Then Little Miami, apparently they have a giant Panther paw print on there. I thought they had just plain helmets at one point. I don't remember. Or were they the school that had like the 3 colors, like the diagonal? I think you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. Stebbins, they have a logo similar to Lebanon's, Taze Valley, TV letters on it, and they have the gradient effect where it's pale gold on the bottom and heading up it's navy. Kings numbers on the side. It's a nice helmet, red. Lima Senior, the Old English L, kind of like Louisville. It's not bad. Xenia, the X with the flag on it. Anderson, the Raptors, first year of the Raptors. They have Raptor scratches on it, so that's pretty cool. Oh, Sydney and Edgewood. Edgewood has numbers on the side. Sydney, cursive, Sydney on it. I thought they had like the muscular Yellow Jacket because, Yellow Jackets are muscular. So, records-wise, Piqua 9-0, Kings 10-0, Anderson 8-2, Taze Valley 9-1, Edgewood 7-2, LaSalle 5-4, Witten Woods 7-3, Withrow 8-1, Troy 6-3, Turpin 6-4, Harrison 4-5, Sydney 5-5, Stebbins 5-4, Xenia 5-4, Lima Senior 3-6, and Little Miami 4-6. Who did not make the playoffs? 4-6 Tecumseh, 2-8 Loveland, 2-7 Oxford Talawanda, 2-6 Belmont, 2-5 Columbus Briggs, 1-7 Fairborn, and winless Franklin Heights, Columbus West, and West Carrollton. I told you there's a lot more to cover on here. A quick check to make sure there's no more local teams. See, what's weird is the second number in Division 2 is not local teams, where it is in the first division. And now I think it's time to move on to Division 3. How about it? Let's hit 3. Let's actually check Region 11 first, because that's the region that Bellbrook's in. I don't see Bellbrook in this division anymore, but there are a couple local schools. And you know me, if it's local, it's worth talking about on this podcast. It's too bad that's not the same for Dayton Sports Radio. So there are a couple local teams on here. Most of this seems to be Columbus and southern Ohio. Southern Ohio. Yeah, that makes sense. And then there's Bell Fountain. What are these regions? I mean, I know you have to get schools in fitted like Tetris and all, but Bell Fountain. And then most of it's like Columbus, which that's not too far from Bell Fountain. I get that. But then there's Jackson. Never mind. Let's tell you the matchups in D3 R11. Number 1, Granville gets number 16, Bishop Watterson. Number 2, Jackson and the Ironmen get number 15, Columbus South. Number 3, Tri-Valley. This is Dresden Tri-Valley. You know, the home of the big Longenberger basket. Actually, I think they tore that down, but never mind. Not to be confused with Tri-Village in Dart County. So Tri-Valley gets Bell Fountain, number 14, Bell Fountain, and the Chiefs, says on the helmets. Are they going by Chiefs now, or is it still Chieftains? We'll ask that later. Number 4, London and the Red Raiders get number 13, Zanesville. Number 5, Bishop Hartley gets number 12, Miami Trace. Number 6, Western Brown welcomes in number 11, Beechcroft from Columbus. And number 7, Eastmore Academy hosts number 10, Jonathan Alder. Number 8, St. Francis of Sales gets the number 9, Sheridan team rolling in. And we go through the records. Granville 9-0, Jackson 8-2, Tri-Valley 8-1, London 8-2, Bishop Hartley 8-2 with Western Brown, 6-3 Eastmore Academy, 6-4 St. Francis of Sales, 8-2 Thornville Sheridan, Jonathan Alder 6-4, Beechcroft 7-3, Miami Trace from Washington Courthouse 7-3, Zanesville 6-3, Bell Fountain 6-4, 7-3 Columbus South, 5-5 Bishop Watterson. Those are some really good records, 1 through 16. So this is where I say, hey, that looks pretty darn good. I don't know why I decided to go William Shatner on you, but I just did. Missing the playoffs, 5-4 Chillicothe, 5-5 Buckeye Valley, 4-4 Hamilton Township in Columbus. Again, not to be confused with Hamilton. 4-6 Marietta, 3-7 the Plains Athens, you know, that school that Joe Burrow went to. 3-7 Wilmington, 2-8 Columbus Centennial. Again, why is Wilmington in with never mind? Let's look at Region 12. This is where more local schools are at. And we'll start off with number 1 Hamilton-Badin, winning another GCL co-ed title. Great year the Rams had. It was a lot of fun. And that last regular season matchup with Nicholas, the Battle of Undefeateds, that was huge. That was a great win, too. Number 1, Badin gets number 16, Vandalia Butler. And we move on. I should really scroll down before continuing on. Number 2, Monroe. They'll get number 15, Archbishop Alter. And it's been a rough year for Archbishop Alter. I said 15th. Archbishop Alter went 5-5. And yes, I said that's a rough year because for Alter standards, that is a rough year. I mean, what was it? 0-3 start? But still able to get into the playoffs. I mean, again, you have the argument like 5-5, really? That gets you in the playoffs nowadays? But there you go. And Monroe, what a year Monroe's had. If I'm correct, they're the only team to beat Eaton. And yes, which we'll talk about in Division 4. But hey, we almost had 2 undefeated teams in Preble County. You know how huge that is? I'm trying to think. Is there 3 teams or 4 teams in the playoffs in Preble County? The only one I don't think got in was Tri-County North. I don't know about National Trail, but I know the other 3 are. Spoilers. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, number 2, Monroe. Great year for the Hornets, 8-2. They get Alter. Then you have number 3, Bellbrook. Another great year for the Golden Eagles. They'll get number 14, Trotwood Madison. It's been a rough year for Trotwood Madison, although they did finish 4-5. I think they, 0-5 to start? Did play Winton Woods really close, though. Number 4, Ross gets number 13, Chaminade Julienne. Then we move on. Number 5, St. Mary's Memorial, covered by my good friend Michael Hearn, who apparently reached his 2,000th broadcast. Congrats, my friend. How many broadcasts do I have? I haven't been keeping track in 2 months. I have to update my website soon. Note self, do that later. Anyway, number 5, St. Mary's Memorial. We'll get number 12, Franklin traveling in. I think this is the 2nd straight year Franklin and St. Mary's have played. Then you have number 6, Wapakoneta hosting number 11, Dayton Dunbar. Number 7, Tippecanoe, spelled wrong on the helmet website. Come on, it's Tip-E Canoe, not Tip-I Canoe. Anyway, Tippecanoe, number 7, gets number 10, Mount Healthy and the Owls. And number 8, Hughes, the Big Red, gets number 9. Pause. Lima Shawnee. I didn't think Preble Shawnee was D3, but that's pretty big area, Southern Preble County to cover. So, helmets-wise, Tippecanoe's got a plain white helmet. Wapakoneta, their brand new W kit with the spear going through the letter. That's pretty nice. Dunbar, I think it's a different logo from what I remember. It's a D, kind of like Duke, but there's a Wolverine going through it instead. St. Mary's, an oval SM, a football-shaped SM logo. Franklin, a paw print for Wildcats. Big Red, H in Big Red. If you don't like Big Red, well, you probably like another gum. Lima Shawnee, red helmet with the black and white Florida State spear. Hamilton Baden, numbers on the side. They don't go ram horns. In fact, there's 3 Rams in the playoffs in D3 Region 12. Vandalia Butler, they changed their helmets. This is the last time I remember. They have a flying plane. They are the Aviators, after all. Right next to Dayton International Airport. Purple, solid purple helmets. They used to have the 3-colored diagonal golden stripe in the middle, purple on the bottom, white on top. I haven't seen that look in a while, but that's a new helmet. Chaminade Julienne, kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles wings, except it's more mid-wing. It's not just the feather tips. It's different. Ross Rams, the classic horn helmet. It's a gold helmet and maroon horn. It's a nice look. Monroe, they have numbers on the side. Archbishop Alter, the classic gold helmet with the brown A. Bellbrook apparently has plain purple helmets. I should mention that I'm not entirely sure if all these are accurate. I'm just going off the website. Used to be Bellbrook had the cursive B that they love. Well, that I say they love, but they have nowadays the classic B. Yeah. Trafford Madison, their ram horn has changed. It's like sliced. I don't know how to say it. It's like dash marks. It's not a full ram horn. It's, if you know the Los Angeles Rams horn nowadays, where it's like waves and split in pieces, this one's like, those strips on interstates where if you go off the road, it goes, it kind of looks like that. Mount Healthy, they have an owl wing on it. It looks pretty cool. It's not quite like the Philadelphia Eagles wing. It's a little bit different. It's pretty cool, though. And I think that's all the helmets. So your records, Baden 9-0, Monroe and Bellbrook 8-2, Hamilton Ross 7-2, St. Mary's Memorial 8-2 with Wapakoneta and Tippecanoe, Hughes 6-1, Lima Shawnee 6-4 with Mount Healthy, Dayton Dunbar 4-3, Franklin 4-6, CJ 3-5, Trotwood Madison 4-5, Alter 5-5, Vandalia Butler 3-6. Not making the playoffs, 3-7 Northwest, 4-6 Ponix Tech, 4-5 New Richmond, 4-6 Elida, Aiken 3-5, Bishop Fenwick 3-6, Dayton Carroll 1-8, Woodward 2-7, Greenville 2-8, Goshen 1-9, Salina 1-9. That covers Region 12 for you. A quick peek into Region 10, see if there's any local schools. Nope, looks like it's all north. That's one of the things that I fear is that, I cover all of it and then, oh yeah, there's this school that's in this random division. And I was like, oh. And then I feel bad because I don't, I don't cover everyone. That's the part I hate, I want to cover everyone because it's not done on Dayton radio. Plus, I think I'm pretty good at this. So let's move on to a region that's near and dear to my heart. Division 4, Region 16. That's my alma mater, Valley View, for you. And yes, the Spartans did make it as the 12th seed. So think, if we were top 8, they're out. So let's start with number 1, Wyoming Cowboys. Another solid year, another undefeated year, 10-0. They'll get number 16, Waynesville. Number 2, Eaton and the Eagles. 1 game away from a perfect 10-0 record. They fell, I think it was a last-second field goal by Monroe to knock off the Eagles, because Eaton did have the lead late. The Eagles get number 15, Oakwood, and I can't wait to tell you about Eaton's helmets. Number 3, McNicholas. Great year for the Rockets. They'll get number 14, Washington Courthouse. Number 4, Clinton Massey. Never count the Falcons out. They'll get number 13, Northridge. Then on to 5 through 8. Waverly, the 5th-seeded Tigers, get my Valley View Spartans. The 12th-seeded VV Spartans. Number 6, Bethel Tate will host number 11, Schroeder. Number 7, Milton Union. Great year. First year in the Three Rivers for the Bulldogs. They'll get number 10, Indian Hill. And number 8, St. Paris Graham gets number 9, Taylor. So the helmets, plain black helmet for Graham. And if you know Valley View, plain navy helmets, white face mask, which I feel like the face mask has changed over the years, but I'm not for certain. Indian Hill has the Kansas City Chiefs Arrowhead with IH in it. Milton Union, a few years now, they've used the MU Bulldog collar logo. It's really nice. It's really clean. Bethel Tate has a tiger's paw print with wavy gray stripes in it. Not quite like a tiger stripe. Well, maybe it is. It's more like a tiger stripe, I guess. Schroeder's got numbers on the side. Taylor, numbers on the side on their black helmets. Waverly, numbers on the side with a thick orange stripe in the middle. And now we look to the left side. Wyoming, I love their W horseshoe logo. Think of the Indianapolis Colts logo with a big W in it. That's Wyoming's logo. Clinton Massey, if you know what the Liberty Flames logo looks like, it's kind of like that, except it's the Massey Falcons. Northridge has a big, giant paw print on the side that says polar bears on it. Well, actually, it just says bears across the paw. Oakwood, the O logo with the lumberjack. And I'm going to save Eaton for last because that's probably one of my favorites on here, although there's no bad helmets so far. Waynesville, they have the San Jose State Spartan on it with the helmet black. Washington Courthouse, numbers on the side, white helmet. McNicholas, their brand new M logo with, what would those be? It's not hash marks. It's a cross. I know it's a cross. It's a private school. And then Eaton. Oh boy, Eaton. They have used the old Seattle Seahawks logo for the longest time, but lately they've updated. They made it a lot sharper. I love it. I love the purple logo on it, and I love that Eaton stuck to tradition. Now, the old Field of Eaton had the old Seattle Seahawks logo painted. I don't know if they've done that at the new place. I hope they did, because that was cool. That's a nice part of Park Avenue. Now that field is not used. So your records, I mentioned Wyoming 10-0, Eaton 9-1, McNicholas 8-1, Clinton Massey 8-1. Who did Clinton Massey lose to? Waverly, Bethel Tate 8-1, Milton Union 9-1. Clinton Massey lost to Anderson the first week. Ooh, that was a big win for Anderson after falling to Princeton that first week. Man, that's tough. I mentioned Clinton Massey, McNicholas, Waverly, Bethel Tate all 8-1, Milton Union 9-1, Graham 6-3. So already, if you have more than one loss, you're done if we're going old school. Well, Graham had 3 losses, but you know what I mean. 1 through 7, 1 loss, and then Wyoming's undefeated. Yeah. 416's a bruiser. Might not have the student body population like Division 1 does. Division 4, Region 16. That's some good football. Now, Taylor and Indian Hill, 5-5. Schroeder, 4-2. Valley View, 5-5. For all the turmoil this year, 5-5 at Valley View. New coaching staff and everything, so, They did fall to Bellbrook. That's the rivalry, the 725 rivalry. Why is that the rivalry? I don't really know, but it is. Northridge 7-3. You might wonder why 7-3 Northridge is behind 3 teams that are 5-5. Again, computer points. It matters who you play. Northridge also with Milton Union in the new Three Rivers. Washington Courthouse 4-5. Oakwood 4-6. Waynesville 5-5. And your teams missing out: Greenfield McLean 4-5, Hillsboro 4-6, Kenton Ridge 3-7, Chillicothe Unito 4-6, Urbana 2-8, Norwood 2-8, Batavia 1-8, Springfield Northwestern winless at 0-10, Thurgood Marshall 0-8. And now double check if there's any schools. Yes, we got to go to Region 14. I say we got to, but let's go to Region 14. Quick check how I'm doing on time. Holy crap, this is going to be a big episode. Hope you got long road trips. So there was Van Wert and the Cougars in Region 14. The number 3 seed Van Wert Cougars get number 14 Rossford. I recognize the Clyde Flyers. They spell it F-L-I-E-R-S, not F-L-Y-E-R-S. But they're 2-seeded. A couple years ago, they were state champs. They knocked off... Oh, who did they knock off? Wyoming? I think they knocked off Wyoming. Couple cool helmets on here. Clear Fork, they have the green Indianapolis Colts logo, which would be a horseshoe. Perkins has the Tampa Bay flag. It's black and white. That's a classic look. Edison, I like the Thunderbolt and the E on it. I think that's pretty cool. Lutheran Rest, what are they? Let's find out. They are the Longhorns. Wow, that's what I was going to guess. It looks like the Texas Longhorn Steakhouse logo. Sorry, it just does. And see if there's any other local teams. Is Bryan? They're north of Van Wert. Are they local? I don't think they are. Okay, so that's the only one we really talk about. Van Wert 9-1. Great year for the Cougars. And now we move on to Division 5. Region 16. Wait a minute. I hit on Division 4 again. Wow, I'm an idiot. Let's do Region 20, Division 5. How about that? Oh, it's a long day. It's only 9:30. So, number 1, Taft and the Senators. The winner of the CMAC title, they'll get number 16, Madera. Number 2, Roger Bacon and the Spartans. People thought, oh, the Spartans are going to fall off the map because Corey Kiner is no longer with Roger Bacon. Number 2, Spartans host number 15, East Clinton. Number 3, Preble Shawnee. They were the only Preble County team to have an undefeated season. Their first year in the Western Ohio Athletic Conference, first title in the WOAC, and probably the best year Preble Shawnee football has ever had. I should ask my dad if that's the case, but I don't know how much he paid attention to Preble Shawnee sports when he was there. Sometimes I feel like I'm adopted because I love sports and my parents are like, they follow along sports since I've started broadcasting Dayton Demons hockey, though, so that was pretty cool. Anyway, number 3, Preble Shawnee. There's no hyphen in between Preble Shawnee. They'll get number 14, Greenon. And number 4, Reading and the Blue Devils get number 13, Carlisle. On the other side of things, number 5, Versailles. Great year for the Tigers. They'll get number 12, Summit Country Day. Ooh, just thinking about that drive. Ooh, I talked about the drive Little Miami has to make to get to Piqua. Ooh, there's some drives. It's not like D1 Region 4 where everyone's in Cincinnati. Number 5, Versailles gets Summit Country Day visiting. Number 6, Brookville gets number 11, Williamsburg. Number 7, Marymount gets number 10, Blanchester. And number 8, Purcell Marion, also no hyphen in between. What's with these random hyphens? Gets number 9, Springfield Shawnee. Both local Shawnees are in D5 R20. That's nice. That's not confusing at all. So Taft's got a plain gold helmet. It looks nice, though. Madera has a giant Mustang's head on it. I lost the track of thought I had. I was going to say a big horse head. I mean, technically that's right. Reading has a blue pitchfork coming in, a la Florida State Spear. Carlisle's got the C logo. If you remember the old Washington Redskins logo, it's like that, except it's a C in it. Roger Bacon, their Spartan, is a little different. It looks like it's more detailed on this helmet. I don't know if that's just a scan or what, but it's not like your normal Spartan logos on it. It's nice. Astros in cursive on the East Clinton helmet. Green in numbers on the side. They're the Knights. Preble Shawnee has the Kansas City Arrowhead logo, PS, in it. Williamsburg has cats across. I think this is the first time since, 2000? Williamsburg made the playoffs? Something like that. It's been a while for Williamsburg. Brookville, they have a pitchfork, but it goes through a black letter B. Marymount, gold helmets, blue numbers on the side. They're the Warriors. Blanchester, looks like they're ripping off Valley View's helmet. Plain Navy helmet. I thought they had a Cougar logo on it. Summit Country Day, a silver knight in front of the letter S. Versailles, a plain orange helmet. Purcell Marion, PM, It looks like a Cavalier sword in between the letters. And Springfield Shawnee, they have the S with the hatchets on the opposite side. Records. Taft and Roger Bacon, 7-2. Preble Shawnee, 10-0. Reading, 7-2. And again, you wonder why Preble Shawnee is not on top. Well, I can pinpoint it. Playing Dixie does not help. Playing Bradford does not help. And being in the Western Ohio Athletic Conference, yes, Preble Shawnee did go undefeated, but a lot of that's Division 6 schools. In fact, Twin Valley South, actually, I take that back. A lot of that's Division 7 schools, and we're talking about a Division 5, Region 20 school. So there you go. Your points. Probably the best win, I'd say the Tri-Village game. Yes, it's another 7-28 game, but I thought that'd be the team that win the WOAC. Patriots 9-1 though, so that's a nice year. Reading 7-2, Versailles 9-1, Brookville 8-2, Marymount 7-3 with Purcell Marion, Springfield Shawnee 6-4, Blanchester 5-4, Williamsburg 6-4, Summit Country Day 4-4, Carlisle 5-5, Greenon 6-3, 5-5 East Clinton, 4-6 Madera. Missing the cut, 5-4 Meadowdale. That's a good year for the Lions, 5-4. Yes, I know, just out of the playoff bubble, but 5-4. That ain't bad. Finneytown 3-7, Claremont Northeastern 2-7, West Liberty Salem 2-7. If you told me that West Liberty Salem was going to have a 2-win season, I would have laughed in your face. Joke's on me. North College Hill, a shortened season, 1-4. CHCA 1-8. Yeah, CHCA, Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy, 1-8. That's another big shocker for me. Clark Montessori 1-6. Madison Plains 1-9, Bethel 1-9, Middletown Madison 0-10. Rough year for the Mohawks. I did talk about the helmets. I wanted to make sure. Quickly, what's Region 18? Is there any local schools? Yes, there are. So let's head into Region 18, same Division 5. There are a couple local schools, and also Lakota, not to be confused with the Westchester ones. So your local schools, number 4, Indian Lake, will welcome in number 13, Apple Creek, Waynedale. That's Northeast Ohio. That's a long drive. Number 5, Ottawa, Glandorf. They have updated their logo, Titans wordmark, with the second T as a sword. I like that. That's cool. They'll get number 12, Chippewa. Number 7, North Union gets number 10, Genoa area, as opposed to Genoa out of area. That's number 11, Lima Bath visiting number 6, Liberty Benton. And Marion Pleasant, I think they're in the area. Number 15, Marion Pleasant, gets number 2, Elyria Catholic. That's your local schools and the helmets. Indian Lake, Spearhead, or Spear. North Union, the N with Union arced. Bath as Bath in cursive in light blue, sky blue even. Liberty Benton, gray helmet, LB in block. Marion Pleasant, Purdue P in red, white trim, black helmet. Probably my favorite out of the bunch, Ottawa Glandorf. I mentioned the Titans wordmark. That's very unique. I like that. So let's look at the records. Indian Lake 4th, 7-3 with Ottawa Glandorf and Liberty Benton. North Union 8-2. I mentioned Lima Bath 5-5. And that's all the local schools that made the playoffs. Out of the playoff race, 19th, Ben Logan 4-6. And that's all the schools I recognize on here. How about Division 6, Region 24? Hey, let's have fun. Let's collect Division 5, Region 20 again. No, let's not. So, Mechanicsburg, overall number 1 seed in 624. They'll get number 16, St. Bernard, Elmwood Place. Number 2, Allen East in the Lima area gets number 15, National Trail. Wow, 4 or 5 teams in Preble County made the playoffs. Excellent. Number 3, Arcanum gets number 14, Fort Recovery. Number 4, Coldwater. It is weird to see Coldwater seated so low, but they'll get number 13, Delphos Jefferson. Number 5, Cincinnati Country Day gets number 12, Deer Park. Battle Cincinnati, probably the shortest trip for any of the 624 teams to make. Number 6, Northeastern. I believe that's Springfield Northeastern and the Jets. They used to have a Jet logo on it, and I don't think they do anymore. Just to make sure it is the Jets. They'll get number 11, Anna. Number 7, Paint Valley has number 10, Fairbanks. And number 8, Greenview has number 9, Gamble Montessori. The helmets, well, Rams are in cursive at Greenview, and it's very patriotic. R&A with the blue and white stars, M&S with white and red stripes. And the middle stripe is very patriotic as well. Greenville used to have the Rams horn. Not anymore, it looks like. Gamble Montessori, a clean green helmet. Mechanicsburg, the spear. Titans in cursive for St. Bernard, which I think that's different from years gone by. Unfortunately, I can't check on here. I have to go on a different page. That's okay. Coldwater, the shield, and the Cincinnati Red C. Okay, it's more like the Chicago Bears wishbone C because it's orange. You happy now? With swords sticking through the letter. Ouch, that hurts. National Trail, they used to have plain orange helmets, but now there's numbers on the side. Allen East, white helmets, blue numbers. Arcanum, love the Trojans look. They have the Michigan wings in orange and the black helmet. Not sure why that's fitting for the Trojans, but I like it. Fort Recovery, plain silver helmet with a purple stripe. Anna, an A. Northeastern, I mentioned. A little disappointing because they used to be the Jets, and they had the old New York Jets word mark on it. They don't anymore. It's just a block N. Paint Valley, plain black helmet. Fairbanks, looks like the Thundercats Panther logo in a shield. Deer Park, plain silver helmet. It's like that team in Columbus, except Deer Park has probably played tougher teams. Cincinnati Country Day. They're now the Nighthawks, so they're no longer the Indians. They have the Nighthawk logo. I like that they've used the sky blue and dark blue. I like that in Fairborn, too. And probably my favorite helmet, Arcanums. Yeah, I like Arcanums. Yeah, I know, you probably want me to say Greenview for patriotic reasons, which it's cool, but yeah, I like Arcanums better. Mechanicsburg 10-0, Allen East 7-3, Arcanum 8-2, Coldwater 8-2, CCD 7-2. Excuse me. Northeastern 7-3, Paint Valley of Bainbridge 5-4, Greenview 6-4, Gamble Montessori 6-2, Fairbanks 5-5, Anna 4-6, Deer Park 3-7, Delphos Jefferson 3-7, Fort Recovery 3-7, National Trail 4-6, St. Bernard 3-5, Missing the Cut, Huntington of Chillicothe 2-7, Miami East 4-6, Frankfort Adena 3-7, North Lewisburg Triad 2-8 with New Lebanon Dixie, and 2 1-9 teams, Covington and Parkway, Dayton Christian 1-8, Minster 0-9. What's happened to Minster? They've always been a scrapper in the MAC, and 0-9. I don't know. It's tough to see. I say as I have no relation to Minster or anything. It's just, well, let's look for local teams. Is Crestview local? Sure, let's call it local. Remember, this podcast, Cincinnati, Dayton, and also Lima, and a little bit of Columbus too, but I think we're out of that range. Van Buren, I think, is out of the area. Bluffton's north of Lima. Normally I don't go north. Columbus Grove's really high up there. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Crestview. They're 10-0. They got the 2 seed, and that's Region 22. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm right. Sorry. They have number 15, Northwood. Northwood is from Northwood. That helps. Don't ask me where it is on a map. I won't be able to tell you without cheating. And now Division 7, Region 28. If you have less kids than that, then you can start Division 8. So, I am pretty pumped. My former Twin Valley South Panthers got in the playoffs. On Facebook, they said it's the second time. Technically, it's the third if you're counting last year, which I don't think they did. Yeah. When we talk about Twin Valley South football, normally it's on the losing end. Can I talk about Week 10 against Tri-County North? Twin Valley South won. Yay. West Alex, yay. Anyway, so let's talk about Region 28, Division 7. You know what Twin Valley South's reward is for getting in the playoffs? Number 1 Marion Local. A Flyers team that's 10-0. A Flyers team that puts nightmares into the MAC. A Flyers team that normally gets very far into the playoffs. A Flyers team which I think have won a few state titles in the last few years of this podcast. Yeah, some reward. Although, if you're not counting last year, Twin Valley South is 2-1 in the playoffs. And that was 1999. Last playoff game was a 14-7 loss to St. Henry. If you know about Northern Miami Valley schools, St. Henry is normally pretty darn ace. So yeah, my Twin Valley South Panthers are in the playoffs. So both of my schools are in the playoffs, and 4 out of the 5 schools in Preble County are in the playoffs. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Twilight County North, if they won, they would probably be the 16th team. In fact, both schools tied for 16th. Oh, that's great. I just laugh at the fact that Week 10 win for Twin Valley South was the difference maker. Because I didn't think Twin Valley South was getting in the playoffs. But, lo and behold, I'm wrong. I'm glad to be wrong. So, enough chat. Again, number 1, Marion Local gets number 16, Twin Valley South. Number 2, Tri-Village, the TV Patriots. They love TV. They'll get Miami Valley Christian Academy. Great story in Miami Valley Christian. Remember, they're the school that lost everything in a fire, and local schools helped out with football gear. So they're in the playoffs. They get to honor their legacy there. That's pretty cool. Number 3, Notre Dame. What, is Notre Dame playing high school teams now? Don't tell Ohio State that. No, this is Portsmouth, Notre Dame. Portsmouth? It's not Portsmouth. I'm not that stupid. Portsmouth, Notre Dame gets number 14, Troy Christian. I didn't realize they were in Division 7. Now I do. Number 4, DeGraff Riverside is number 13, Sciotaville East. Why is that in quotes? Sciotaville East. Yeah, sure, it's East. You didn't do that for Lakota West or Lakota East. It's more north and south. East than west. I don't know. Anyway, number 8, Fort Loramie has number 9, Springfield Catholic Central. Great year for the Irish. But under old rules, they would have not made the playoffs. That would have been tough. Number 6, St. Henry has number 11, Ansonia. Number 7, New Bremen has number 10, Laughlin. And number 5, Cincinnati College Prep has number 12, Fayetteville Perry. Helmets-wise, Twin Valley South used to rock a plain red helmet. Not anymore. Looks like they're using the logo that the school website uses. Yes, I know a lot about Twin Valley South. Again, I went there until 2000. So yes, I would know. So that's a little bit different. And also, their football jerseys have I don't know what the font's called. It's like italics, and it looks like it belongs with the Detroit Pistons. You know what I mean? Sure, you know what I mean. Marion Local, they got the classic yellow helmet, blue face mask. I don't know if that look's ever changed for Marion Local, and historically it probably hasn't. In fact, there's a lot of plain helmets in D7R28. Notre Dame's got a paler than pale gold helmet. Troy Christian, they're the Eagles. They have a yellow eagle with green highlights. Tri-Village, I mentioned the TV Patriots. They have the New England Patriots logo, except instead of the star, it says TV. So you have a guy that really likes watching TV. It's always been my joke. And I've always joked at the fact that TVS's logo is TVs, multiple televisions. I'm just a fun to be with at parties. Like I get invited at parties. The Graff Riverside, they have the Pirates logo eating a sword. Okay, not eating a sword. It's putting a sword in its mouth. The plain helmets go to Sciotaville East. Notre Dame. Springfield Catholic Central, a little bit darker pale gold color with dark green face mask. Ansonia black helmet with a thick white stripe and thinner orange stripes in between. St. Henry, they had the old Twin Valley South helmets apparently. Plain red helmets. CCPA, plain white helmets, yellow face mask. Yeah, there's a lot of plain helmets on here. In fact, I'm surprised Twin Valley South is not part of the plain helmets crew. Fort Loramie, they have a football-shaped FL with the spear going through the letters. Fayetteville, the Rockets, they have the Rockets blasting through a circle and Rockets on top. I've already mentioned Tri-Village. New Bremen, their Cardinal looks a little bit different. Looks a little bit older than, some of the other Cardinal locals you see. But that's cool. It's unique. You don't see that in teams that have the Cardinal name. And it kind of looks like they have a gradient helmet like Jacksonville did, where it's yellow in the front and towards the back it's darker shade of yellow. Laughlin's got the Michigan Wolverines helmets down pat. And Miami Valley Christian Academy, their logo, it's like the Lion King Broadway logo. It's white in a black helmet. Your records in Region 28. I mentioned the Flyers 10-0, Tri-Village 9-1. Only loss was the Preble Shawnee. Portsmouth, Notre Dame 7-2, Riverside 7-3. Cincinnati College Prep 7-2, St. Henry 7-3, New Bremen 7-3, Fort Loramie 4-6. You might wonder, wait a minute, 4-6, get back down there. Remember, Fort Loramie's independent. With the breakup of the cross-county conference, Redskins don't have a league. So their schedule, Minster, Versailles, Covington, which Versailles, the one-loss Fort Loramie suffered for 1 of 6. But the first team out of the first 3 that were over 500. Versailles finished 9-1. Minster, Covington 1-9 each. Newark Catholic, that was a 1-point loss for Fort Loramie. Really good game. Greenfield Central, Indiana. That's being ruled as Division 2. Fort Loramie lost that by 10. The game against Dunbar got canceled and that was the Greenfield Central game. A loss to Edon. Not Eaton, not Enon, Edon. Lost to Columbus Academy in Columbus. A cancellation against Thurgood Marshall, which turned out to be a Shelby County battle of Sydney. Yes, Fort Loramie played a Division 2 team in Division 7 and won that game by 10, I should add. A loss to perennial power Lucas and the Cubs. Not a guy named Lucas. Lucas School up north. And a nice win against Lima Central Catholic. So, yeah. Independent. I don't know what Fort Loramie's going to do. Because the conferences around, they're like Division 2 and up. I don't think they accept Fort Loramie. I don't know if Three Rivers would consider that or not. I think that'd be nice, but Anyway, Springfield Catholic Central, I mentioned a great year, 7-3. Lachlan 4-4. Ansonia 6-4. Fayetteville 5-5. So, that's why East is in brackets. Because apparently, according to Joe Idle, I've been using 2 sources here, it's Sciotaville Community. And on the Helmets website, it's Sciotaville East. So what is West? Like not community? What's the opposite of that? Troy Christian 6-4, Miami Valley Christian 3-7, Twin Valley South 4-6, and I mentioned they tied with Tri-County North 4-6. And the win for the West Alexandria Cats meant Panthers of TVS in, Panthers of TCN out. They're the only team in Preble County not to make the playoffs. But still, almost had all 5 Preble County teams make the playoffs. You know how rare that would have been? You know how rare that is? Heck, we almost had 2 undefeated teams in Preble County. I'm still ecstatic by that. So after Twin Valley South, it's 4-6 Tri-County North, 2-6 New Miami, 1-7 Beaver Eastern. Wonder if that be in quotes. 2-8 Cedarville, 2-7 Southeastern Local and South Charleston, 1-9 Lehman Catholic. That's a big surprise to me. Lehman Catholic being 1-9. Normally they put out a good show, but Manchester 1-5, Franklin Furnace Green 1-5, Mount Victory Ridgemont 1-8, Mississinawa Valley 1-9, Bradford 0-10, Hillcrest Academy of Cincinnati 0-8. And one final look to see if I missed any local schools in Division 7. Well, there is Lima Central Catholic. Let's talk about that. That's Region 26, Division 7. LCC, they're also independent. They have a home game. As the 3 seed, they'll welcome in number 14, Crestview. That's the Crestview I'm thinking of. Other local schools, Hardin Northern made it as the 16 seed. The Polar Bears will travel to Hopewell Loudon, the top seed. Waynesville Goshen, number 8, gets number 9, Sycamore Mohawk. Leipzig, number 5, gets number 12, Ayersville. Oh, I love that shade of blue. It's cerulean blue. I like that. Patrick Henry, they've taken the New England helmets and made them white. They'll get number 7, Antwerp. Upper Scioto Valley, the 6-seeded Rams, get the Commodores of Lima Perry, the 11th seed. And Spencerville, yes, I know that's north of Lima, but again, home of my good friend Michael Hearn. They'll travel to number 2, Edon. And Edon is from Edon. Wouldn't you know it? Hopewell Loudon's from Bascom. Lima Central Catholic. Well, I hope they're in Lima. That's the first word. Leipzig. Upper Scioto Valley is McGuffey. Waynesfield is in Waynesfield, and I think Goshen's the township. Mentioned Sycamore Mohawk, which, yeah, I saw a Bishop Sycamore joke. I haven't heard a peep of that since. So, there you go. And I mentioned Hardin Northern made the 16th team. The other local teams we normally talk about. Delphos St. John finished 19th at 3-7. Ada 1-9. That's where they make the NFL footballs. And that's all the local schools I can recognize. So, we're in the playoffs. That is all the local schools covered, and it took over an hour. Jeez. I told you this would be a long one, and we're not done. We head back down to Cincinnati as the Bengals and Bearcats, the best in Ohio. Why is that? We'll talk more after the sound. In case you're curious what I do between the breaks, normally I get a bit of hydration. I get my topics ready for the next segment. Today was fix myself something to eat, and look up the lyrics to this next part because it's necessary. Hear that Bengal growlin', mean and angry. Here he comes a prowlin', lean and hungry, an offensive brute, run pass or boot. And defensively, he's rough, tough. Cincinnati Bengals. That's the team we're going to cheer to victory. Touchdown Bengals. Get some points upon that board and win a game for Cincinnati. Now, the song does it again, but I'll save your ears. That's the Bengals fight song, which I believe was way back in the day. George Bird, a close friend of Paul E. Brown. Never heard anyone call Paul Brown Paul E. Brown, but there you go. You know, founder of that team up north and the Cincinnati Bengals. When Paul Brown started the Browns, he asked his friend George Byrne to be his entertainment director. He accepted. He had a 14-piece band called Bird's Band. His band played live at all the home games. Man, just think. Back before, sound systems and everything like we have nowadays, scoreboards and everything, or video boards rather. Wow, that's pretty cool. I actually really like it. So when Paul came down to Cincinnati to form the Bengals, he asked George to be the entertainment director. And at some point, he was ill and hospitalized. So he was angry that he was hospitalized, so he decided to write Bengals Growl, which I always thought it sounds like it's from the 30s when, the Cincinnati Bengals were first on the field for like a few years. I always thought it was from that, but it's pretty neat. And yeah, I'm not going to do the song. I'm not going to sing. And I always thought Run Passer Boot was fun passer roots. I don't know. Anyway, why am I talking to you about a Bengals fight song? It's because the Cincinnati Bengals are 5-2 and have the number 1 seed in the AFC. It's a good thing the season ended yesterday. It's a very good thing. Okay, it didn't. But, hey, Bengals fans, did we really honestly see this amount of change? I mean, previous 2 years, the Bengals have spent $230 million on free agents. Joe Burrow looks healthy. The offensive line looks pretty good. And that defense, though. Man. I love this Bengals team. Yes, I know. We have 10 more games to go. Anything can happen. Hopefully nothing bad to the Bengals, knock on wood. But what about that win at Baltimore? First half, I was expecting that. It was really close. And my heart started to sink when Baltimore struck first in the second half. I thought, oh no, this is the part where Baltimore runs away with it. Bengals answer right back. And yeah, it's only a 3-point lead, 2017 at that juncture. But I had a good feeling. I just had a good feeling, and I was proven that good feeling wasn't a fluke. Bengals 5-2 on the year, 4-1 of the last 5, and now 2-0 against their AFC North foes. At Pittsburgh, at Baltimore. These are two places that are tough to play. But not for Joe Burrow. He says that SEC stadiums got a lot louder than these places do, which that surprised me. And hopefully that doesn't come back to backfire against Burrow, but there you go. 3-1 on the road. And again, this is led by Zach Taylor, who did not have a road win until, was it late last year? Or was it this year where he picked up his first road win as head coach? 3-1 at away and 2-1 at home. I go back and think, what if we started better against Chicago? Would that loss happen? I mean, I like the rally we had, but too little too late. In the Packers game, definitely winnable. We held in. But what's the common theme about both losses? Both were down by 3. Both were 3-point losses. No blowouts yet. This is a Bengals team that's allowed at most 25 points. And 3 of those 25 points came in the game-winning field goal by Mason Crosby of Green Bay. Is this Bengals team for real? Can I start to get hyped? Can I really expect great things? You betcha. You betcha. Man, I knew this was coming. I knew we should expect greatness at some time, but I don't know what I was expecting 2021. Because last year I was pretty excited, and then you saw how that went. This year I was looking forward to the season. I want to see how that offensive line help. I mean, Ricky Reef. Why did I say Ryan? Reef in there. Jackson Carman's been a big draft pick, and man, I'm excited for his development. Quentin Spade, he's showing that he's definitely worth a contract. I mean, when Cincinnati radio is talking about Trey Hopkins being the weak point of the offensive line, it's improved. It makes me sad because I love Trey Hopkins, but maybe they're right. I mean, he just can't stay healthy. So, and that defense, I mean, Trey Hendrickson, that 4-year deal looking like a steal. I mean, this Bengals team just has a brand new toot, and I love it. I mean, the game against Baltimore on the road, hit 17 sacks and sacked Lamar Jackson 5 times. This is a dude that can hurt you with the feet and with the arm. And we sacked him 5 times. We just made Baltimore look silly in the end. 41-17. How about that? How about that, Bengals fans? I mean, I'm still cautiously optimistic because, again, it's football. Anything can happen. It's a physical sport which takes massive tolls on bodies. I know that. You know that. Anything can happen. But, I'm happy. I'm really happy. And I look forward to Sundays. I mean, I always do. I love, when I'm in the car, I always listen to Dan Horde and Dave Lapham. In my opinion, Dan Horde is the play-by-play announcer I try to model myself after, If I have a sliver of success that Dan's had in his career, I'll consider myself a success and not a fluke. But, yeah, I mean, I actually got to watch it on TV. By watch it, I mean the digital antenna decided that, oh, hey, some of the important plays you don't need to see, so that was fun. Because, yeah, I don't have cable. I just have one of those digital antennas that you could pick up the signal from. So it was my first game watching in quite some time, because normally I'm on the road and I've listened to it on the radio. 41-17. I gotta look at the box score. I just have to, because 3 points in the first, 10 in the second, 14 in the third, 14 in the fourth. The last 2 scores were Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine rushing in for this score. 520 net yards. 1 penalty. And it was a false start against the Bengals in the fourth quarter. That's probably the cleanest game of football I've seen. Maybe ever. 1 penalty on the Bengals, 5 on the Ravens. That's 6 total in the game. The Ravens got hit with 46 yards of penalties, but still. And the Bengals held on to the ball less. By time of possession, 31-49 to 28-11. Joe Burrow, excellent as always. 416 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. That one pick, he shouldn't have thrown it, but getting chased out of the pocket. This Baltimore team did a great job and not allowing Joe to stay put. The dude was on the run all the time, which, yeah, that sounds like I'm being hypocritical and saying the O-line, after saying the O-line is pretty good. Remember, this is a Baltimore Ravens team. They normally put their feather in their cap in defense. So, just to see what the Bengals were able to do, that's huge. The rushing game, well, between Mixon and Pirine, no Evans this time, I'm sorry. But Mixon, 59 yards, Pirine, 52 yards, and both scored a TD. So that's 5 touchdowns for the Bengals. Jamar Chase, 201 yards on 8 catches for a touchdown. CJ Uzama, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns on 3 catches. And T. Higgins, no touchdowns, but 62 yards on 7. Tyler Boyd, 4 catches, 39 yards. P. Ryan, 23 yards on 1 catch. And just watching Chase's touchdown run, I thought he'd be down the secondary and, we move on. But that dude broke several tackles. And like I mentioned, I was on Chase, or I was on Chase. I was on Team Sewell because I wanted offensive line help. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Not like I was like, oh, Chase, I'm going to burn all my Bengals gear. No, that was never going to be the case. No matter what, I'd be satisfied how the Bengals went. And, yeah, this dude, Rookie of the Year, just hand it to him. Just hand the man the damn award and just be done. 201 yards. This Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, I was expecting greatness out of the reconnection of the two from LSU. But this dude's unreal. Let me tell you about the 2021 season. 35 catches, 754 yards, 6 touchdowns, an average of about 21.5 yards per catch. An average of 21.5 yards per catch. 6 TDs. 1 against Baltimore. Man. This guy is the real deal, and I'm proud that he's a Bengal. I'm so happy he's a Bengal. Now, when years go by, make sure you keep him as a Bengal, along with Joe Burrow and, pretty much everyone. Also, I forgot that Le'Veon Bell was a Baltimore Raven. I don't know how I forgot that, but only had 5 yards rushing. Lamar Jackson, his usual self, 88 yards on the ground, but no TDs. Devonta Freeman, who came in for the injured Latavius Murray, which I didn't think he was still in the league, but he was on the practice squad of the Ravens and scored Baltimore's touchdown. And Lamar Jackson, let me tell you, that second half drive, this is not a podcast where I bash other teams. Well, except that team in Columbus, because, everyone here loves that team in Columbus. And every time that team in Columbus fans tell me I need to be that team in Columbus fan because I'm in Ohio, I get a little bit angry inside. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. That drive was excellent. And Hollywood Brown, I know his name's Marquise Brown, but Hollywood Brown. There was a couple on Twitter that said that wasn't a touchdown. I don't know. That dude had a toe drag for days. Literally days. So, that drive, well executed. And again, that's when my heart started to sink like, oh no, this is the part where the Bengals are going to collapse, isn't it? No. I'm glad I was wrong. But what a win that was. I was so happy, especially the last part where I had to run out and get my fiance's stuff. I was so happy to hear Dan Hoard just run out of ways to say how excellent the Bengals are. I mean, this team has really turned a corner. And I know, again, 10 weeks left, 9 games on the slate. Next one's at the New York Jets, which, it's the Jets. They have 1 win of the year. It's not a very good year for the Jets, and they just lost Zach Wilson, the quarterback they drafted. But every game is important. If the Bengals can play like they did against Baltimore on the road, if they do that each and every game, I tell you, the Bengals aren't going to lose too often. So what's after the Jets on the road? Week 9 against that team up north. Yes, the team that thought that because they had 1 good year out of the past few decades, that they're going instantly to the Super Bowl. But wait, injuries galore. And, as much as I hate it for Browns fans, the ones that aren't arrogant, and the ones that don't say the Bengals shouldn't exist because, my feelings are hurt. Those injuries are disheartening. Because this is a very good Cleveland Browns squad. When's the last time both NFL Ohio teams were good? I don't remember. I don't think it happened since I started following sports. I mean, most of the time, both teams were bad. But Browns are pretty decent. I like Kevin Stefanski. I think he's a great coach. Now, just don't screw it up, eh? I mean, for Baker Mayfield, that situation... I hate to say it for you Browns fans, but I'd say he's done for the year, from what I'm reading. Like, torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder, which, yes, it's not his throwing shoulder. If it's his throwing shoulder, yeah, I'm not saying anything too bold here, but the dude's been tacking on injuries. And if you play through that too often, then you're risking your body throughout your life. Is it worth it? I don't know. Case Keenum is pretty good. I mean, I like Baker Mayfield, and I've always believed that Baker's a great fit in Cleveland. And also, I like the time where he planted the flag in Columbus. That was great. If I wasn't a Cincinnati Bengals fan, I'd probably get Baker Mayfield's jersey, just to rub it in. Week 10's the bye, so that's Sunday. I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably work, because that's all I do. Week 11 at Las Vegas and the Raiders. A lot of turmoil with, the whole situation with Don Gruden. Lee's helpful tip. Don't be racist. Don't be sexist. Don't be a misogynistic pig. There you go. Glad you learned something today, huh? Week 12, Pittsburgh visits. That is Thanksgiving Sunday. Week 13, Los Angeles Chargers are in town. Week 14, San Francisco's in town. Week 15, at Denver. Week 16, Baltimore. Week 17, Kansas City. What's happened to the Chiefs? It's been a bad year. I had a lot of questions with disposing all that line, and I was really hoping we get Tooney, who was a free agent from New England, right? Former alternate. He went to Kansas City. Just... what's happened? I don't know. And then week 18 at Cleveland to cap off the year. Yeah, like I said, win or lose, I'm following this bunch of jungle tigers, and I have bright hopes for the future again for the Cincinnati Bengals. And finally, we'll wrap up episode 222 with the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, because I haven't been able to do this podcast weekly, I have missed out on a lot of college football, and hopefully I'll get a chance to wrap it up sometime soon, because there are more teams in Ohio than that team in Columbus. If you just listen to Dayton radio, what they tell you. There are a lot of great college football teams around here. A lot of them not Division I, but it's still football. And yes, that's my intention to cover those teams when we can. But I would like to talk about the best Division I football team in Ohio, and it's not that team in Columbus. If you disagree with me, kindly show yourself the door or something. I don't know. If you're driving, keep driving because I don't want you to wreck. Okay? I'm talking about those Cincinnati Bearcats. I wonder if they have a fight song like the Bengals do. Well, heck, all you have to do is switch out Bengals for Bearcats, and it kind of fits. This is a 7-0 UC football team, 3-0 already in the American Athletic Conference. And, yeah, this team has taken the college football world by storm. 2-0 start to the year by bashing Miami and Murray State. A 38-24 win in Indiana started to get the attention of the national media, about damn time. And that win at Notre Dame, October the 2nd, 24-13 over the Fighting Irish in South Bend. Well, let's just say, I told you so. The Temple game where the Owls were thrashed and screwed about 52-3. The UC win over UCF, 56-21. And coming off, Navy's already in the AAC? I didn't realize that. There we go. Coming off a 27-20 win at Navy. Now, yes, I know people are already going to throw things at my voice like, but Navy's not a good team. What good team has that team in Columbus played? Oregon, and you lost. Get over it. What's the good wins? Oh, they're all cupcakes. Oh, Tulsa, great win there. Oh, Maryland and Rutgers. Oh, yeah, they set the Big Ten with fright in football. Let me tell you. And, we bashed Indiana. Good for you. UC already did that. You want a cookie? Normally, Navy is a team that always brings a great defense. 1-6, yeah, that's not great. And 10 points in the fourth quarter really made that game, really close. And I you know what? I'll admit it. I was worried that UC was going to drop. Because, yeah, it's not a loss, but it's about how you win. And what I fear is people see, that team in Columbus is winning big. Yeah, against teams they probably should. It's just, I'm not going to say this about all fans because that's not true. There's great fans all around. But just the ones that are like, not for long. UC's going to lose. Ohio State is better. Go have yourself a cupcake. There. You played the same schedule as that team in Columbus did. Good Lord. The contest with Navy, UC won 27-20, like I already mentioned. Navy had a pair of leads in the first half, but then UC was able to hold on and take the win. Looking for team stats. There we go. It's probably under the team tab. Who would have guessed? Navy did get more first downs than UC, 22-14, and most of those were rushing, 12-7. The Bearcats, I almost said Bengals, darn it, got 7 first downs on passing compared to Navy's 5, but 5 penalty first downs for Navy, none for UC. Total offense, the Bearcats were actually outgained 308 to 271. Again, I'm not defending how close UC won. I'm just saying, normally Navy is a really tough team to beat. In fact, let's see if I can visit Navy's website. Accelerate your life. I think that's Navy. But, I mean, give Navy credit. They played them tough. This is a team that lost big to Marshall at home, lost by 20 to Air Force at home. Close game against Houston, at Houston, 28-20. That's not bad. A win against UCF. Sorry. When I see UCF falter, it brings a cackle into my heart. Not like I have anything against UCF, but hey, it's the rivalry with UC. And both are going to be in the Big 12 soon. Hoo-hoo. Again, it's nice to have a Power 5 team to talk about in the area. Pity that everyone just focuses about Columbus. Falling by 7 at home against SMU, falling by a larger margin at Memphis, and then the close loss to Cincinnati. So other than the Marshall game, none of these have been really blowouts. My blowout level is 20. or more, which I know that yours is probably 14, but 2 scores, you can get it back. Navy's at Tulsa next, then at Notre Dame, then hosting East Carolina, in case you wanted to care. What's next for the Bearcats? Well, it will be a road game Saturday at noon at Tulane. Home next Saturday against Tulsa. The team that team in Columbus is boasting about beating because, you were struggling to beat them in the first half. But yet you didn't drop in the polls after. Oh, wait. Did you? I think you might have, actually. Never mind me. I think you actually did drop in that because of that, because I think it was, a 7-point win or something like that? Something close. Then at USF, South Florida. Then home against SMU. Then at East Carolina. By the way, if you are wanting to see the Bearcats live with your own eyes at Nipper Stadium, Tulsa's game has 27 tickets left. By the time I say this, it's probably sold out. And Saturday, November 20th game against SMU has 232 tickets left, so move your butt. However, the Bearcats will be on ESPN2 twice more, and then on ABC/ESPN, the last game at ECU. Hopefully it's ABC so I can actually watch it. Wait a minute. A Friday game again? Really? What's up with these Friday games? That's for high school football. Ugh. Yeah, I was a little irked because I wanted to hear Dan Horde call the UC Temple game, but, I had to work. I say that like it's a bad thing, but no. I was broadcasting, what was that Princeton game? Was that Sycamore? I think it was Sycamore. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was Sycamore. Yeah, because we talked about it. Never mind. So this Bearcats squad has stats on PDF. Interesting. This is a Bearcats team that has 1,308 yards rushing, 21 rushing touchdowns, only allowing 939 themselves on 8 touchdowns. And passing-wise, Desmond Ridder and company with 1,642 yards through the air, 4 interceptions, and 16 touchdowns. I say Desmond Ridder and company because Evan Prater has been getting in the mix too, especially when the games have been blowouts. Which rightfully so. I think he's due to take the crown next after Desmond Ridder graduates. It's a Bearcats team with 1 kick return touchdown, no punt return touchdowns. Only 15 punt returns, though. Interesting. And only 12 kick returns, too. So this is a Bearcats team that averages about 505 yards per game. And total offense average per game is 421.4. So needless to say, you shouldn't have let Luke Fickell go, that team in Columbus. Because now he's building a dynasty with UC, and I don't see him leaving because, again, the Bearcats are heading to the Big 12, so he'll have his Power 5 job. Which, yes, I know, I might be a little unfair, that team in Columbus fans, because Luke Fickell went into a crappy situation. He did 6-6. Should have had time to build it. But then here comes Mr. Slimeball. Irvin Meyer. And, yeah. And yeah, you can rub in my face about the national championship. Whoop-de-frickin-do. You want all the refs from Columbus to help you out? Jeez. I'm just double-checking to... Oh, redshirt freshman Evan Prater. Okay. That's cool. Just seeing a lot of local talent, too. I've already mentioned, I don't know on this I'm pretty sure on this podcast, but on Princeton Vikings football broadcast, that I am so thrilled that Coach Fickell's able to keep the local kids in town. I see a lot of Cincinnati teams, Coleraine, Wyoming, to be precise, Middletown, Mount Healthy. And I see Dayton schools, Wayne, Trotwood, Madison, Springfield. That's just on one section of the thing. There's Bishop Watterson in Columbus. Haha. Western Brown. Bishop Watterson. The haha was for you fans of that team in Columbus. A couple of Middletown middies on here. Walnut Hills, transfer out of Virginia there. LaSalle, another Coleraine Cardinal. Franklin. That'd be running back Ryan Montgomery, former Franklin Wildcat. Lakota West. Princeton. Just seeing this local talent makes me so giddy. And there's Kings. his hometown's listed in Landon. Normally, I would say Mason or Mainville. I guess Landon's a thing, but I don't know. Mason and the last name, Kopegordovsky? Sure, let's go with that. Anderson in there. I can go on for days about the local schools, and I know I'm missing a few. Fairfield, Bowler, another Coleraine. There's a lot of Coleraine. Miamisburg, yay. Kings, someone that has Mainville, Ohio as a hometown. Not like that matters. There's Fairfield Union. That's almost like Fairfield, but not. It's south of Columbus, in case you're curious. There's a Cincinnati Christian transfer. Not Cincinnati Christian High School, Cincinnati Christian U, before they got shut down and everything. So, yeah. Am I loving this where the Bearcats are better than that team in Columbus? You betcha! Do I wish the downfall of that team in Columbus? No, because I don't actively, wish for downfalls. I'm not a scumbag. I do, however, root for, people that cover local sports, people that want to hear more about local sports because, I think that team in Columbus is overcovered in the area. We have sports in Dayton too, That's why I love going down to Cincinnati, because you know what's on Cincinnati Sports Radio? Cincinnati. Funny. And also UK and Louisville sometimes. I do really like Cincinnati's sports radio scene. There's also WOMH in Hamilton. They do a great job. They were Yahoo Sports. I don't know if they still are. They might be CBS Sports now. Anyway, there's the big ones in town, 700, when they have sporting events. It's normally a talk station with lots of right-wing stuff. I don't listen to that. I listen to sports. Let's see. There's WSIA, that's Fox Sports 1360. There's ESPN 1530, which I listen to after every Friday night game to hear the final scores. And in fact, this is probably the longest I had that on. I was trying to fight the static, and I was getting 14:10 in the mix. And I actually kept it about the row before I turned to get home. I live up here in Dayton. That is Cincinnati. And normally, unless it's 700, Cincinnati stations don't come in well. Especially on Marshall Road, thanks to those big power lines. They kind of bring 1410 in, and it's like, no, I don't want to listen to that. So, Bearcats. Best D1 team in Ohio. Reason why I'm not saying best team in Ohio is because, well, I'm not sure what Mount Union is doing. Actually, let's find that out today, shall we? So I can... Not Mount Raider. It's Mount Union Football. Mount Union D3, they're normally fighting for a national championship. So that's why I always say Mount Union's normally the best team. And wouldn't you know it, this is a Mount Union team that is 7-0 as well. That's two teams better than that team in Columbus. Shocker. Let's see, the closest game that Mount Union has won, this is Alliance, by the way, so it's out of the area, but I don't care. The closest win was against John Carroll at John Carroll, 28-14 in University Heights, Ohio. So yeah, Mount Union has my respect, like UC and all the local teams. Actually, what is Wilmington? Oh, Wilmington got hit pretty hard by Mount Union 63-0, but that's to be expected. Mount Union is pretty darn ace. I think Wilmington's having a better year this year, though, which is nice to see. Central State seems to be having a rough year. Wilmington is winless. Where did I think they had a better... Oh, Wilmington lost a game thanks to COVID protocols. Dang. And last few games haven't been close. The closest one was the overtime loss against Southern Virginia at home. I thought Wilmington had a few wins, or am I just seeing soccer updates? I'm thinking, oh yeah, let's credit that to football. That might be it. Then again, that's why, I need to start getting back on a regular time span to do this podcast, but full-time stepdad with a career and a fiance to take care of, it's tough. So that's not an excuse. I hate making excuses, but it is what it is, I guess. I think that'll wrap up episode 222 pretty nicely. Nearly, okay, I was going to say if this is over 2 hours, and that's a long one for me, but it feels like I've been doing this for 2 hours. So thank you to one and all that listen to this podcast and continue to listen, pump me up when I need to do my podcast, throw in questions from Alan's mailbag, which you can do anytime. Don't wait for me to tweet. Just ask me questions. And yeah, thank you for your continued listenership. Like I mentioned, I want to get to all the local college football teams. Like I said, I know Dayton's having a rough year. They're coming off a tough loss to Valparaiso. And in case you haven't been following along, Valparaiso, I think they hired a really good coach, and they're actually pretty decent this year. I think the Flyers have a few wins. I know they fell to Marist and Valpo because I listened to it. Normally, I'll listen to Miami and Dayton at the same time, and I'll throw in UC when I'm in my car. Because, yes, I do listen to multiple games at once. Well, not at the same time. It's not possible for radios to do that, but you know what I mean. I listen to 3 games at the same time that they're being played. Miami's having a pretty decent year. They just beat last year's MAC champ Ball State. So that was a good win. And yeah, that's the local college football for you. And notice that it doesn't have anything to do with that team in Columbus. Support local sports. Support the Cincinnati and Dayton Sports Podcast. My name's Lee W. Mallon. As always, it's been great talking local sports with you. Talk to you again for the next episode. When will that be? Hopefully soon. Talk to you then.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Cincinnati and Dayton Sports Podcast with Lee W. Mallon. Be sure and bookmark CinDayPod.com, the official website of the local Cin-Day Sports Podcast. From there, you can find your favorite way of listening to future episodes on platforms such as Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, TuneIn, Pandora, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, and more. You can also find the Redbubble and TeePublic shops there too, where all podcast merchandise purchases go to help the podcaster. Follow on social media at Cin-Day Pod and Lee W. Mallon on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. This closing theme was created with the Splash app. This is Lee W. Mallon saying thank you again for listening, and we'll talk more local Cincinnati and Dayton, Ohio sports next time.